Chernobyl.
Just 30 seconds inside this room is enough to kill you. This is the story of a radioactive image. There's 4 nuclear reactors here, each one generating 1,000 megawatts of electrical power. 1,000 megawatts is enough energy to run 750,000 homes for an entire year. And on this particular day, at this particular hour,
1:23 a.m.
Reactor 4 has failed. Due to the extreme levels of heat, the once solid material that makes up the core has now turned into some kind of nuclear lava. And this nuclear lava has melted through the bottom shield of the reactor and is quickly making its way through the pipes and the concrete, resting below. Over time, the lava cools and hardens. It's mixed with melted concrete, sand, and the core's shield. This mixture is what is known as
Corium.
Temperatures of corium are estimated to reach twice that of volcanic lava. Corium is so rare that there are only a handful of accounts of this substance ever forming on Earth. Each occurrence the result of a nuclear meltdown. The corium hardens into a giant blob of radioactive waste, emanating invisible waves that shred through and dismantle the structure of DNA. The workers dub it elephant's foot. An elephant's body, and in fact, everybody, we're all made up of DNA, the ladders that link things together. Radiation poisoning acts as a sort of shotgun, with atoms being shot in every which direction. So some of those atoms are capable of breaking the bonds of a body's DNA. The result is acute damage to that DNA, which often leads to deformity in future generations. They mark this mass of atomic radiation in a unit of measurement called
Martyckus.
They use a Geiger counter to estimate that the elephant's foot is emitting about 10,000 roentgens per hour. For comparison's sake, standing next to the foot for an hour would be the equivalent of receiving over 1 million X-rays. That's 20,000 X-rays for every minute that passes. If you were standing within 3 feet, just 2 minutes next to the elephant's foot is long enough to deliver a lethal dose of radiation. So it's why 6 months after the Chernobyl incident, this team is being extremely cautious when entering the sarcophagus.
You are watching Disrupt.
The sarcophagus is a colossal 14 million cubic foot concrete structure built to contain subsequent radiation leaks from Chernobyl. And it's in room 2172 of the sarcophagus where the elephant's foot can be found. In the late 1990s, a Washington-based laboratory is invited to collaborate on various nuclear safety projects. One of these projects fell in the lap of a worker in IT. His task is to create a digital photo library of Chernobyl that can be used for future educational material. So he assembles a team of freelance photographers to get boots on the ground. The team is a group of Soviet personnel tasked with taking measurements of an unusually high level of radiation. Once they make it inside the sarcophagus, they determine that they can't safely go any further. There's just too much radiation, so they're forced to turn around. Over the following years, the fallout at Chernobyl ripples throughout the surrounding area, hitting Belarus, Russia, and Ukraine the hardest. And efforts to continue minimizing its impact never really go away, even to this day. So it isn't until the 2000s that the photo of the elephant's foot begins to surface on the web. But this time there appears to be a man standing next to it. But who is he? Following this archaic URL, you can actually see these image thumbnails, though their sources are not available. On scrolling through the images, past the outside building, deep corridors, and tucked away on page 6 is the infamous photo. All credit goes to David Goldenberg for this. He wrote a great article on Atlas Obscura about the mystery surrounding this image. He managed to dig into the CSS source code of this ancient website and found this old caption. Arthur Corneve, Deputy Director of Shelter Object. David's words here, Corneve turns out to be an alternate spelling for Korniev. With that in mind, following this article, we can see that Arthur Korneve was interviewed in the town of Slavitic. This was one of the many towns set up for victims and workers of the incident, where his job description was to, quote, locate radioactive fuel on site and determine radiation levels to limit the exposure of other workers. Presumably, this is how these photos were taken. Nobody can confirm the whereabouts or speak to the condition of Arthur Korneve today, and the last time he was confirmed to be alive was in 2021. But at the time of this 2014 interview, Korneve had cataracts and other health problems related to the consistent radiation exposure. To this, he said, Soviet radiation is the best radiation in the world.